hostility toward images. Enamored of their own prowess, some artists had lost sight of the holy stories in favor of provocation, often of a lascivious nature, or else of vain virtuosity, arraying a dizzying number of figures, but masking the sacred message. This period, dubbed ineffectually by art historians as mannerism, gave the world the notion of art for art's sake that would take on a life of its own in the 18th century. For the post-Reformation era, however, the watchword was something else entirely: art for faith's sake. It's not surprising that, faced with promiscuous or confusing images, some Catholic prelates questioned the wisdom of continued art patronage while the Church was preparing to re-examine her teachings in the Council of Trent. Music, literature, and the visual arts were under scrutiny as to whether the pleasure they provided was merely profane delight, instead of a stimulus toward piety and eternal salvation. There was much to discuss in the Council of Trent, from sacraments to saints and magisterium to mission. The 2 decades of intermittent meetings from 1545 to 1563 spanned 5 popes, the birth of 10 religious orders, more than 100 officially recognized martyrs, and the repercussions of the astounding volte-face of King Henry VIII, who decreed himself the head of the English Church in 1534. The Tridentine Fathers, truth be told, spent far less time discussing art than art historians would like, but their decrees of the 25th and final session of December 4th, 1563, reaffirmed the long-standing relationship between art and faith, essentially restating the points made at the Second Council of Nicaea in 1787. The Tridentine decrees were deliberated along with the role of relics, a precursor to Benedict XVI's observations on the power of the saintly and artistic beauty. The bishops shall carefully teach this, that by means of the histories of the mysteries of our redemption, portrayed by paintings or other representations, the people is instructed and confirmed in the habit of remembering and continually meditating upon the articles of faith, as also that great profit is derived from all sacred images, not only because the people are thereby admonished of the benefits and gifts bestowed upon them by Christ, but also because the miracles which God has performed by means of the saints and their salutary examples are set before the eyes of the faithful, so that they may give God thanks for those things, may order their own lives and manners in imitation of the saints, and may be excited to adore and love God and to cultivate piety. By 1564, art patronage was secured, but the instructions were vague. How were artists to comply with these lofty and somewhat ambiguous expectations? The solution came in the form of a remarkable and unprecedented collaboration, that of prelates and painters. In the search to tell old stories for a new world and emphasize ancient truths for a modern generation, the Church sought out all types of artists: the edgy Caravaggio, the graceful Guido Reni, the technically perfect Annibale Carracci, and the colorful Barocci, the theatrical Bernini, and the passionate Artemisia Gentileschi. Every creative soul, despite its inner struggles, was invited to be a part of this great project of affirming salvation in the Catholic Church through beauty. While artists knew how to wield the brush and chisel, interpreting sacred stories for the faithful was the province of preachers. The Church, despite the setbacks of the Mannerist era, decided to encourage these individual artistic visions, shaping them through formation. Prelates published an unprecedented number of artistic treatises in this era. Written in Italian, they aimed to help artists satisfy the requirements of the new age. And, in the words of Gabriele Paleotti, Archbishop of Bologna, transforms painters into tacit preachers, with the office to delight, teach, and move.